to Spilling the Tequila, the podcast that gives you the energy without the hangover. I don't even know if that's the lines that you use because that's usually Grace's line, but obviously Grace isn't here on the show. So she is on vacay at the moment in Bermuda. So hello, Grace. All our listeners will miss you. I miss you. Obviously, the show must go on, and I didn't want to do the show by myself. So I thought I would get Lei Lei to be in the hot seat. Who I'm very grateful to be here. Lei Lei, welcome to the show. You've been on the show before giving us entertainment news, but now you're filling in for Grace. Welcome to Spilling the Tequila.
Thanks. Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'll try and fill in for Grace as best I can.
Perfect. We're really
she doesn't get lost in Bermuda.
In Bermuda? I know. Yeah. I didn't even know you could go to Bermuda. I thought Bermuda was Bermuda Triangle where all the planes and the trains go missing, but apparently there's an island there, and she's vacating it up, drinking tequila there without me. So,
well, have you got a search party ready in case she's not here next week?
So, let's start the show. I'll start first. As you know, when Grace and I do this show, I bring something to the table that she doesn't know I'm going to speak about, and vice versa. So thank you for bringing something to the table that I don't know what you're going to speak about. So it's organic for me and for the listeners and for the viewers. So basically what I'm going to start off with, Lei Lei, is that we have a lot of listeners that are from around the world, not Australia. So a lot of listeners in America, some in Europe, one in Brazil, to be fair, because when you have a podcast, it shows you the statistics of where people are watching from and what cities, which is really, really cool to reach out for a podcast. And we have a lot of listeners in America. So I don't know if it's that Grace and I are Australian and it's our accent, but hello, everyone from around the world, and thank you for tuning in. So because we've got a lot of we've got more overseas listeners than we do Australian listeners. I thought I would speak about something very Australian. Now, Lei Lei, do you know in America how every song? I feel like being an Australian, you're Australian. We know the names of all their cities, like New York, Alabama, because if you watch a lot of American shows and songs that they bring out, there's a lot of songs with American cities, like Sweet Home Alabama, New York. What I'm getting at is Australia has really, really cool names of cities and towns, and we just don't really have any songs with the name of our towns and cities in it. So I want to tell the viewers of some cities and towns that we have here. Let me know if you know any of these, and if you don't, and I'll tell you where they are. So this is for all the listeners around the world that listen to our podcast. These are names of towns and places in Australia, and this is how funny Australia is. Australia is very big, by the way. All right, so Lei Lei and listeners, there is a town called Boing Boing. So like Boing Boing.
Is that real?
Yeah, it's real. The town of Boing Boing is in the Northern Territory. It isn't actually a bouncy town. The name is indigenous for mosquitoes buzzing.
Oh, fair enough.
They're like boing, boing. But yeah, the town's called Boing Boing, 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 which is really, really cool.
That's like, that actually reminds me of Bondi, obviously. Well, the traditional name for Bondi is actually Bundi, and that's the sound of water hitting the rocks on Bondi Beach.
Is it? So it's actually... Yeah. It's not pronounced, because as you know, I lived in Bondi for 12 years. So it's not pronounced Bondi, it's pronounced Bundi.
No, historically. So its indigenous name originally was Bundi. But I guess colonization and now the accepted term is Bondi. But the original name Bundi comes from the waves hitting the rocks. And that's a noise that they used to hear traditionally at the beach. So that's how it got its name. I guess like the mosquitoes in the Northern Territory.
I love that. See, you learn something new every day on this show. Thank you for that, Lei Lei. Another town in Australia, there's one called Mossy Nipple Bend. I'm not joking. So Mossy Nipple Bend is in Tasmania, and it's located near Lake Fenny. I'm not even joking about that as well. Also, as you know, in America, Fenny means bum, but in Australia... Fanny means vagina. Yes, correct. So that's why we find it funny. All right. There's also a place called Fanny Bay. Fanny Bay is a suburb outside the city of Darwin in the Northern Territory. If you're headed to Fanny Bay, you'll need to drive along Dick Ward Drive to get there. I'm not even making this up. This is real. So if you are coming to Australia for holidays or vacation and you're going to travel around, please get a photo in front of Fanny Bay to get there, you'll need to go along Dick Ward Drive. And I don't know if this is on purpose. I don't think it was, because Fanny and Dick is an old-fashioned name, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
But,
Okay.
yeah, I guess the meaning has had different connotations.
Yes.
Very similar.
There is a place in Australia called Boobs Flat. And when I mean boobs, I mean BOOBS, like you do on the calculator when you're in primary school. Tasmania really does take the prize for quirky place names. Boobs Flat is located right next to the town of Big Bush.
You should set up like I guess for your international audience, you should set up like a tourist map that they could follow, to go to all these towns, which is the most Australian and unique name. That could be a side hustle, Sell the
True.
maps for $2.50 each on Etsy or something.
I've never had it before. I want to go down that lane. All right, Lei Lei and listeners, the next one, as you know, bogan is a very Australian terminology word that we use here, and I love a good bogan. I think I am a bogan. I did go to Bundy High. But yeah, there is a place called Bogan Place. Bogan Place is located in Australia's capital of Canberra. For those who might not be aware, Aussie slang for hillbilly is bogan. There you go.
I did know about Bogan Place, and I'm pretty sure their sign gets stolen quite often.
Oh, really? You did know
Yeah.
about it? No way. Oh, I guess it's only in Canberra, which is not very far away from Sydney.
No.
The next one, there is a place in Australia called Cockwash Creek. There really is a place in South Australia known as Cockwash Creek. It's in the foothills near the city of Adelaide. Now, I don't know if it's a place where you wash your cock, but there is a place called Cockwash Creek. What do you think about that one?
The water's going to be dirty. Probably not going to want to swim there.
Yeah, it's going to smell like Parmesan cheese. Oh, that's disgusting. I don't know how to say this one, but I will. I think I've got it up how to say it, and I'll put it in the microphone in a second, but I'll try to attempt it. Mamamang kakapang parapaka kakanata gaaya. Mamaka patapakata kakatakaaya Hill is officially the longest place name in Australia, located in the Indigenous lands in the North State of South Australia. The name is derived from where the devil urinates in regional Patakatakajarra language. So obviously, I don't know how. I tried to practice it before I was going to call you today, but let me just put it into Google now.
At least you tried.
I'm just going to put it into Google. Just bear with me. And let's see if you guys can. This is actually how you really pronounce it. 1 second. Nearly there, guys. Technical difficulties. All right. Let's have a look here. Why is this not playing? Okay. Moving on. We'll bring it up later. What have you got for me today, Lily?
Well, mine's have you ever heard of the Mandella Effect?
You know what? I have. I was watching like a TV show or a movie on Apple. I think it was on Apple, a TV show, and I have heard of it, but remind me and remind the listeners what a Mandela Effect is again, because I've forgotten.
Okay, so it's based on, gets its name from, you obviously have heard of Nelson Mandela, correct?
Yes, Nelson Mandela. Yeah. Yes, of course.
So
yes.
he actually died in 2013, but a lot of people, like collective memory, remember him passing away in the 80s. So the Mandela Effect represents sort of society collectively remembering an event incorrectly from how it was. Does that make sense? So
yeah.
We as a society accept this memory to be true when it's actually incorrect. And I've got some examples to go through. So the first one, let's have a quick look. The first one's pretty easy. So you all know Looney Tunes going up, right? Looney Tunes with Bugs Bunny.
The cartoon?
The cartoon, yeah.
Yes, I know it. Yes, I used to watch it.
The logo right now. We've got Bugs Bunny in a circle with the name Looney Tunes.
Yes, I remember what it looks like. Yes.
Yeah, but Looney Tunes, how do you think that would be spelled? Tunes as in like cartoons for short, like TOONS, or tunes as in you're listening to tunes on the radio?
I remember seeing it as TUNES. Now,
Hey, well, then the Mandela effect hasn't worked on you because that's actually how it is spelled. But a lot of people think that it's tunes, like cartoons, Looney Tunes, if that makes sense.
oh,
Yeah.
right.
All right, the next
Interesting.
one.
Yes,
Let's see.
I think I know what this.
Maybe
It's
you're
called.
someone that maybe you're someone that can't be fooled by this, which is pretty interesting. So now I'm going to try and catch you out and see if there's any
Okay,
that can
this is
get you
really
on.
fun, and it's called the
Okay.
Mandela Effect.
Yeah, after Nelson Mandela.
Okay,
That's sort of
perfect.
like that's a slang term for it. I'm sure there's probably more scientific names for this, but we'll go with that.
Uh-huh.
You've played Monopoly, right? The
Monopoly, yes,
game,
yes,
the game, and you know the man with the top hat on the logo.
yes.
Do you think that he has a monocle? You know, the one-eyed glass attached to a chain, or no monocle?
I don't even know what a monocle is.
You know, like old school glasses from like the 1920s. So
Oh,
rather
yes,
than,
yes, sorry.
yeah,
Yes, the thing
yeah,
that is got here.
just around your eye. Yeah. Would you think that he has a monocle or no monocle?
He does have one.
No, he doesn't.
Oh, really?
He never has.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's the Mandela effect on you. Okay.
Okay.
So one for one each.
So
Okay.
why am I oh, you're going to explain that afterwards. We're going to do the
No,
examples first.
I actually don't have an explanation. It's just wait, it keeps going on. You'll enjoy the
Okay.
next
All
few
right, keep going.
examples.
We'll answer
Next
those
one.
questions at the end. Yes,
Yeah.
test me.
Flintstones.
Yes.
How many T's do you think it has in the name?
Including the Flintstones?
No, sorry, just the surname.
Flintstones 2.
Yeah, okay, this one you got. It's actually not the Flintstones, which people think, Flinstones. It's Flint Stones, the Flintstones. So you had that one too, all right. Maybe the Nelson Mandela effect isn't for you. Okay, the next one.
Yes.
I'm sure you've heard the phrase, Luke, I am your father
Yes.
from Star Wars.
Yes.
That's not actually from the movie.
Oh.
The correct line is no, I am your father. He is speaking to Luke. So collectively, that's the catchphrase that's associated with Star Wars, but it wasn't in that original film.
Oh. How weird is that?
I know. All right. Next one. I'm
Yeah,
not
test
sure.
me.
I don't think you're a Star Trek fan, and I'm not
No, I am.
either.
I am.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yeah.
But although I'm not a fan of Star Trek, I have heard the phrase and used the phrase "beam me up, Scotty." Have you heard that or used that phrase before?
Say the phrase again.
Beam me up, Scotty.
Yeah. No, I don't
Well,
think I've heard that.
it's a common phrase used, but I guess if you haven't heard it or don't know it, but that was actually never said in that show.
Okay.
Yeah, the closest it got was Scotty, beam us up, but beam me
Right.
up, Scotty. Okay, the next one I think you'll know. You're obviously a fan of Silence of the Lambs, right? With
Yes.
Hannibal Lecter.
Yes, I've seen it. Yes.
Yeah, and Hello, Clarice.
Yes.
Yet he never says hello, Clarice in the film. But when people are impersonating Hannibal Lecter, they'll say, you know, hello, Clarice with the noise attached to it. But he never actually says that.
What does he say?
Like, good morning, and then with a pause, Clarice. He doesn't
So,
actually say hello,
so where's
Clarice.
society got that from? Or or you're going to explain that later?
Well, it's the Mandela effect. I actually don't know. It's how we collectively remember things incorrectly. All right. Next one
Oh,
for you. Next one for
yes.
you. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. You know the film, obviously, Disney
Yep.
classic.
Yep.
And Mirror, Mirror on the Wall. You know, who's the fairest of them all? You know
Yes.
that
Yes.
phrase?
Yes.
That's not actually what is said in the film.
Really?
It's magic mirror on the wall. And then the line continues.
So magic mirror on the wall, but we're saying mirror, mirror on the wall.
Correct.
Right. So some bozos just said it and we've just copied it on since then.
Yeah, and for years we all follow this and imagine that it's true. Okay, the next
That's a
one.
good one because I do
Yeah.
say mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the first. But
So-
now that you say that, I've never heard anyone say magic mirror on the wall. But like
No,
it's not magic mirror. It's
yeah,
wrong. But
it's
that's what they say in
poetry.
the film.
Yeah, magic mirror is what they say in the film. Mirror, mirror is what we all say as a society, I guess, when we're quoting
Right.
that. Forrest Gump.
Yes.
Life is like a box of chocolates.
Yes.
Incorrect. The
What do
line in
they?
the film, they say Tom Hanks's character is referring to his mum, and he says, "My mum always said, or my mama always says, life was like a box of chocolates." So
Oh,
it
life was
was,
like a box of
yeah,
chocolates.
not is, it was. So, it's tiny changes, but we remember them collectively different. Next one, classic, The Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
Toto, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Incorrect.
What does she
The
say?
correct the correct line is Toto, I have the feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
Yeah, I remember that actually. That just that's
Yeah.
correct. Yeah.
And then the next ones are probably, these are now the last two I've got. They're oh, maybe three. The next one, you'll probably get these ones right, but Britney Spears, you and Grace were talking about her recently with her memoir that's just been released.
Yeah.
But her film clip for Oops, I Did It Again, and she's
Yes.
wearing the red jumpsuit. Was she wearing a headset or not?
Uh, no.
Yeah, correct. Even though they sold merchandise off that video, like dolls or whatever, with her wearing the microphone in the actual video, she's not wearing a headset.
Mm.
But she's sort of, I guess that one can be explained. She's famous for wearing a headpiece rather than,
Yes.
yeah.
Because like that was very 90s back then, wasn't it? Because they were all dancers by singing. So
Yeah, and the next one, I don't think you're a fan of the Black Eyed Peas, but I think you're aware of Boom Boom Pow.
boom
And
boom
then
pow.
Pow, yeah, that one, where Fergie's line, I'm so 2008, you're so 2000 and late. Do you know that
Yep.
line?
So 2008, you go 2000 and late. Yeah.
Yeah, incorrect. The line is actually, I'm so 3008, you're so 2000 and late. Because the song didn't come out in 2008, it came out in 2009.
Oh. So
Yeah.
wow. Everyone's singing that wrong. I don't know the lyrics to any songs to be fair, but wow. This is
Well, I
really
do get you
funny.
freestyle the lyrics. The last one, I wasn't going to share it, but I think I will just for the last one. You know that Lamb Chop, the puppet show from like, I don't know, the 80s, and it's
Yes.
all
This is the
finishes
song
with,
that never ends.
yeah, no, it's not actually the song that never ends. It's the song that doesn't end.
Oh, wait.
So that's
This
the
is the
Mandela
song
effect.
that doesn't end.
Yeah, but
Yes,
we
it
as
goes
a
on
society
and on, my friends.
sing it as never ends.
Oh, I think I sing it as this is a song that never ends. But what
Yeah,
is it
no,
meant to be?
doesn't. This is
This
the
is the
song that
song
doesn't
that
end.
doesn't end. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. But
You
wait,
actually
what's the
you got more of these than I thought.
Yeah, right. So I don't know, the Mandela effect doesn't work on me.
Well, yeah, not as much as everyone else. So I was actually quite impressed. I didn't realize how many you would get. So well
So
done to you.
there's no explanation in this. This is just society from
Well, to
like
be fair, I didn't want to know the explanation to it before I shared it because then I thought if I knew that it might skew my delivery of the phrases, if
hmm.
that makes sense.
So you do have it
No,
for
I
the end now.
don't.
You do
I don't know the reason. But
Oh.
what I do know is like if you ever share a collective memory with someone, so say you've gone to a birthday party
Yep.
and you are with, so obviously if you separate from your friends, you'll have different experiences, but this is collective experiences. So maybe you've met someone for the first time there, and then after the party you reflect on meeting that person.
Hmm.
You won't remember them wearing the same clothes, if that makes sense. And
Mm.
this sort of research is around like God, historically like early bank robberies, when bank robbers would come in and people would be told get down on the ground or whatever. They'd rob the bank. The police would come and interview the customers who were in the bank at the time, and often those people would not recount the same description of the person that came in. So, you know, say you and I were two customers there. I might say, oh, the person had a black shirt on. And you might say, oh, the person had a red shirt on. So they often don't get consistent memories of it. But I guess that one would be trauma related to block the response
You,
of your event.
you know what? It's funny you say that because I have good ATD, which is attention to detail. And like if we went out and you said, oh, what was Carl wearing? I would able to tell you because I have like subconsciously, I have really good attention to detail. Like I'm not trying to look or trying to remember, but if it's like you've been out with me, if I've gone out, I remember everything that happens. Like last night, I was like, no, we went here, then we went here, then we spoke to this, and then I can actually tell you the conversation we've had with someone as well, not word for word, but pretty much word for word. Because if I find that conversation so funny, like say we went out last night and Carl said something really funny telling a story, my memory remembers that because I want to tell that story for the laugh for the new people that I'm talking to. So like, I think your eyes and your brains for all humans, I think we do see it, but it's like, are you able to tap into that memory to get that of what was happening then? And for me, I think I can because I'm trying to. I was like, oh my God, we went to this party last time. We saw Carney told this story. I'm like, no, let me tell it. And then I tell the story, and I'm like,
So you
and
can
I'll
tell
literally
it
recite it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there'll be some words that are different, but I'm like 80% there.
Well, maybe, I would say for your Australian audience, but let's be honest, they're mostly international. So maybe some of your audience out there, if they understand the Mandela effect better than us, or maybe why you have better attention to detail than others, maybe they can write in and explain it and educate us at the same time.
Yes. As Lei Lei said, if you could write into any of our socials or our email, spillingthetequila@gmail.com, let us know if you have any examples of the Mandela effect or, does it work on you? Does it not? Like how it is with me. I want to know more about it because you know what I'm like, Lei Lei. I'm like, I love sci-fi and I love conspiracy. And the whole time you were talking about those examples, listening to it, I actually think, obviously, we're not, but I actually think like humans, like we are already AI, and we're not going to go down this hole because we could talk about this for ages. But what I mean is, humans are meant to be, what are we, evolution from like monkeys and stuff. But I think we were a monkey, but half of us is AI. And I don't know. I don't even know where I'm going with this. I'm sober as well. The fact that I'm talking about this. But what I'm saying is, it's like, it's kind of like how you're talking about the Mandela effect, and we all kind of remember how it was, but it's actually wrong. And why are we all thinking the same thing? Like, I think humans are, I don't know. I think like we're like robots and we don't know, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
like,
no, I get what you're saying. I
think
it's
like, deja vu, like how trippy is deja vu? Like deja vu, when you experience deja vu, everyone's like, oh my God, I'm having deja vu right now. And sometimes deja vu can freak you out. But scientists told us like, oh no, that's just your brain making you feel like you've experienced this before. Well, what if the government's just saying that? What if there's more to it and we don't know?
That's true. Maybe
like
tapped into
we're
the
only
matrix
believing that because that's what they're telling us.
That's true.
Yeah, like, oh no, that's just deja vu. Oh, is it? And then
it's
you
funny.
accept
I actually thought your topic you were going to bring today would have been about are we artificial intelligent or not? Because that was going to be my other option. But I thought, no, I won't bring it because that's what you would bring. So it's funny that you referenced that in the end anyway.
Well, Grace and I have actually done because Grace is very scared of AI, and we did a whole episode about it, and I was all for AI, and because it can like cure cancer and medical, and humans can live to 150 in the future. So there's a lot of benefits to it, if that makes sense. So I'm all for AI. I do love technology and sci-fi and all these things. And all these people that are like, no, get rid of AI. Well, get rid of your mobile phones. You've basically got AI now. Everyone has their mobile phone. They sleep with it. They have this 24/7. This is just an external hard drive, really. It's just not inside you yet. As gross as that sounds.
Well, actually, attached to that conversation, maybe you should then look at like Lawrence Krauss. I forget who he interviewed, but he interviewed a scientist that's sort of looking 10, 50 years in the future, talking about, I'm going to ruin the delivery, but I think it's like bio intelligence, not artificial. It's almost micro. But the best way I can sort of retell the story is imagine, once upon a time, the original moon, the spaceship that landed on the moon, it was a huge computers as big as buildings, and the technology on that was less than the amount in the first iPhone. So can you make that correlation? So something that took a spaceship to the moon and landed, we had that same technology over a decade ago in the first generation iPhone, in your pocket. But in the future, there's going to be more technology than we have in our phones now in something as small as a takeaway coffee cup. So technology will be so integrated into everyday lives that things that are disposable, like a coffee cup, will also have more intelligence than an iPhone now. So if we're worried about AI, what would happen if technology can be so smart and so small? Where the complications could be.
And I feel like we need the AI. We need to get advanced. We need it for a reason. Like, people forget, like, Earth isn't going to exist in the future. Like, people keep forgetting about that. Like, it's like scientifically proven that a comet's going to hit us. It's already happened. It's already killed the dinosaurs and stuff. There's proof of that. So it's going to happen again. And, the sun that we're rotating around, like, is going to burn out one day. So what I'm saying is the solar system we're in, the planet we're on right now, is not going to exist. So, humans do want to continue on with our history. And for that to happen, we need AI to help us.
To help us get there.
To help us get
so
there.
You see
100%.
AI more as a tool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that,
and it was always going to happen. And if people are so scared of AI now, well, I'm like, well, don't use your mobile. Don't use the internet. It's pretty much AI, like in all these things, and start doing things manual. Like, do we even do anything manually anymore? Like, when's the last time you actually like can kids even write with a pen?
I think they struggle these days compared to in the past. I think they're probably a lot more savvy on a computer than they are with a pencil.
Do you remember did you have to go to the school you went to? Did you have to go for your pen license?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I failed. I was one of those people that failed. Such a boy.
Still pass for a pen license now.
Say that again.
I wouldn't pass for a pen license now.
Oh, have you got doctor's handwriting?
Probably worse.
Yeah. And do you when you write, do you do running writing or do you do normal writing?
Oh, normal writing. Who wants to do running writing?
I don't know. I think that's the thing. This is a good question. I only running write. I don't write normal.
That's because you're fast. I think you're in a rush, so that's why doing running writing.
The ADHD.
You haven't got time to lift your pen, so you're like, I'll just do it in one continuous line.
Interesting. Thank you so much for the Mandela Effect. That was a really good topic, by the way. I love it. I think a lot of listeners would be listening to it, trying to work out what you're going on about, but then halfway through, like, oh my God, this is crazy.
Yeah.
I thought it was that.
I'm impressed that you passed like half of them, because pretty much everyone that I read, I remembered them incorrectly. So for you to get through, I'm like, wow, go Sonny, attention to detail.
Yeah, I told you, I'm not dumb, but I'm not intelligent. But I've got great attention to detail, like I always have.
Know your skill set.
Yeah, and know your skill set and just concentrate with that. So, you're someone who introduces a lot of music and movies to me. Could we end the show of even good for the listeners, a musician or a singer that's out there that everyone should check out, that up and coming, anything that's going to be big, a new TV show that everyone should start watching that maybe I haven't watched as well. I probably have because I'm on top of it, and a new movie that you're looking forward to. If you don't have any of those, that's fine. We can end the show. But if you have some on the top of your head, let's end it with that.
So
here we go. Don't threaten me with a good time.
To throw back to your the first town you mentioned, it was an Indigenous word. So I'll piggyback off that and go with an Indigenous artist. Her name's, she's in her early 20s. I think you pronounce it Kian or Kian. It's spelled K-E-E'-AHN. She's got a new song out. It's her second official single. Something the night. But anyway, look it up. She sort of went from, she appeared to be an emerging sort of indie singer-songwriter, but her second single is more sort of leaning towards the club side. So a nice left turn on the second single. So I think she's someone that will have a interesting and great career.
Perfect. And she's
Three,
Australian, yeah?
she's Australian.
Yeah, awesome.
Second one is, did you ever watch the OA on Netflix?
Loved it. Still to this
Yeah,
day, I don't know. That's another episode we could do one day. The fact that that show was so well done, and the last episode that where they went into our world, and then Netflix just cancelled it. Like, how can they do that? And then everyone was online on Reddit saying like it was too close to home, and that government didn't want it to get out. Like,
yeah.
did you read all
Well,
that?
yeah. No, I read it. We can talk about that another time. But the two same creators from that show, Brit and I forget the guy's name, but obviously felt burnt by Netflix, so they relinquished that deal. They've gone over to Disney and Hulu. In Australia, it's on Disney Plus. I think internationally it would be on Hulu. But they've got a show called Murder at the End of the World, and I think it's 5 episodes
Oh,
in, and it's exceptional. It's the high quality of the OA with interesting twists. And obviously, I won't give it away. It's in the title, Murder. But the way the show works, it's two murder mysteries. One's in present time, one's 7 years prior, 6 years prior. But the way they're woven together, and I think by the final episode, which hasn't been released yet at this point, I think they'll tie those two murder mysteries together and they'll be related. So far, I've just been trying to find the threads and the connection between those two, but it's very good. It's a very good show.
interesting. Okay, I'll check that out myself as well. I haven't. I got Disney, so I'll look at that. And what's the next one? What are you,
And well, movies, sort of, there's this debate on the internet now, and I've been tapped out for quite a while. Like, is the superhero genre dead, or are people just sick of, you know, the same old movie over and over again? And I guess the one that's riding on that, if Disney and Marvel can continue after flop, would be Deadpool 3, which I suspect is going to be Deadpool kills the like Marvel universe. So I have a feeling he's going to Deadpool jump through time and kill old Fox movie characters. I think that will be the plot of the movie. But if that movie is a flop, have Marvel lost their mojo and are no longer the money making machine that they once were.
Yeah, look, it's funny you say that because look, I'm not like I watch all the Marvel films because it's just like I said to you, all those Marvel films. It's like I know it's like going to a theme park, right? You pay money, you go on this roller coaster that goes upside down, you get a thrill out of it, and you get off, and you're like, that's what I wanted to get out of it. That's how I look at Marvel films, right? Like
Yeah,
I know what I'm getting. It's like you don't really. It's not about the director or anything. You're just getting in there, just entertain me, throw all this stuff at me, and then I leave, and I've just stepped out of the theme park. So the first phase and all of it was amazing. So I've watched them all.
agreed.
And now all these latest ones, it's just I feel like they just rushed it a bit. Whereas in like the first phase, like the movies were just done so well, and now they're just like I don't know. I feel like it's rushed. So for example, I just watched Miss Marvels. Have you seen it yet?
No, I've tapped out for a long time. So.
Yeah. So look, it had potential, but it just seemed really cheap. I mean, it also went for like not even 2 hours, which I found really strange for a Marvel. As you know, they always go with 3 hours. I thought, oh, he didn't even give me my 3 hours, But if you've tapped out, I'll tell you what happens at the end because it doesn't matter for you.
Yeah,
If you are a Marvel person listening to this and you haven't seen Miss Marvels yet, stop listening
spoiler
because
alert.
yeah, spoiler alert. But at the end, um, they tap into another universe in space. That's what because one of them gets lost, and they're on a spaceship, and there's a doctor looking after the girl that wakes up, and she wakes up, and guess who it is? Mr.
Oh,
Beast.
I was going to say someone from X-Men. I was going to
Yes,
predict it. Yeah.
and I did get really, really excited about that because I know that Marvel got the rights back, which I think you told me about, to X-Men. And when I was younger, I was a big X-Men fan, watching all the cartoons and everything. And even though I've seen all the X-Men movies, they weren't that great, were they? But I know that Marvel will do a really good job at it, and I think that will be their focus.
Well, this will be the test. I think if Deadpool flops, then maybe it's time to move on. Because it's interesting how you talked about the last movie that you watched went into parallel universes, but Everything Everywhere All at Once won an Oscar and did that storyline better. Like, I think why is
Mm.
Marvel doing that? That was Everything Everywhere All at Once was essentially a superhero movie in disguise, but they had different looking, you know, um, people that you usually get, sort of a broad ethnic cast, ages varied rather than being, someone in their 20s to early 30s. Where, if you look at international sort of time and space travel, parallel universes, Everything Everywhere All at Once has done it. Marvel should move on. That storyline, there's been an Oscar winning film. That's not fresh anymore. If you want to do something new, I'm not sure how that they can top that.
Mm.
And maybe
I also,
that
I
maybe that's
also
why you're disappointed slightly.
I also don't like this indication, like this thing now in movies where it's like if it didn't make $1 billion, then it's a flop. That really annoys me.
No, I'm
I don't
sorry.
like that.
When I mean flop, I mean financially and memorable. Like
Okay,
you just
okay.
said, you watch a 2-hour movie and you're like, the ride's done, it's finished, and
So with
everything.
with all the phase that we're in now, where did you tap out at? Like, what was your most
Uh,
favorite of the new phase of Marvels, or none of them have hit you? I didn't.
None have really hit. Like I gave up on Guardians of the Galaxy. Didn't watch the third one.
Yeah, I didn't
Didn't
even
watch
that.
the. I
Yeah,
liked the only TV show that I watched was WandaVision.
that's the best one they've done. The
Yeah,
best.
and they stole that idea from somebody else anyway. So years
Oh,
ago,
sorry.
an internet reviewer based that idea on a like sort of pop culture reference show. Anyway, that there was an email leaked by Fox. It's out there. You know, the Fox email leak where Wages released maybe a decade ago. They talked
Mm,
about that host. She was a host, Rolf Cornett, about that idea that she had for a TV show, different genres, and that's exactly the show that they made. But hers had a
mm,
better ending. So, the best TV show they had was sort of stolen with no reference to the person that originally put it out there in the zeitgeist. So I thought
mm.
if the best ideas come from somebody they heard on the internet rather than within their own house, their creative juices must be gone. And maybe it's time that they hire more broadly or hire actors that are a little bit more diverse in their ages and their ethnicity with authentic or interesting stories.
Drop the mic, boy. Well,
Sorry,
we'll
that
end
was
the
a bit of a
show
rant.
there. Thank you so much. Grace will be grateful because the show must go on for taking the hot seat for Grace and
I tried.
stepping in.
Grace, apologies in advance for letting the team down. I tried. Let's hope you aren't lost in the Bermuda Triangle because I'm not sure. Although Sonny's got attention to detail, I'm not sure how well he'll go at an international search party, but he will try his best to bring you back.
Oh, I'm not. I wouldn't go search for her. I mean, like, I'm not. What I mean by that is, like, I would send the professionals to go. Like,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
not going to get on some boat with the torch. Like, who am I to do that? That's what I mean by that. Sorry,
No, I think
Grace.
you'd be more likely to get a canoe or a blow up boat. Be like, I'm coming, I'll save you.
You know
You're a
what? I'm
loyal
not
friend.
scared of the ocean. I'm Aussie. I swim at the beach all the time. But ocean for me, it's not for me. Like, I'm not really into. Like, I like boats that are like near shore and boats, but like I would never go on a cruise, and I don't know, I'm not into that. Ocean's scary. Ocean's so scary. Anyway, we're gonna wrap it up. Thank you. You were amazing. Thank you for
Thanks.
bringing the topics. Listeners, please give us a like or what's all that jazz. You just have to say that with this bullshit. But thank you. We love doing this. We'll see you
Wait,
next
was
Tuesday.
did you say you had one listener in Brazil? Was it one?
Yes, we
Put
do.
a shout
Yeah.
out to them to be like, invite a friend and then see if you can have 2 listeners from Brazil for the next
True.
cycle. So that's a challenge to the Brazilian listener. Can you double your Brazilian audience for these guys? If you can, they'll send you, I don't know, an email saying thanks. They're not
Do
sponsored
it.
yet. So if you want to
Okay.
also get them sponsorship, I'm sure they'd say yes too.
And do it the same because we got one in Greece as well. Like it tells you, like one in Greece, like hello Greece listener, tell your other friend to watch it. So we get 2 Greece listeners. And but goodbye to the rest of the world, our Australian listeners, our American listeners, and Europe. And we don't really have any listeners in Asia. But
that's
yeah.
a challenge. If you've got those listeners that are there, if you've got a friend in Asia, can you please recommend it so their stats can start improving over there?
Thanks, Lei
It's a
Lei.
challenge.
Good,
Do it as a challenge. Like,
good
can you get
salesman.
some of
Love
this?
this.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
good salesman. We'll see you next week for Tuesday. Thank you for tuning in to Spilling the Tequila. My name's sonny-joe. His name is Lei Lei. Peace out. See you soon.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.